I'm Hank Hallowell, president of the board of directors of the America's Transportation Experience, the AACA Museum here in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We're in the main gallery, and I'm standing next to a 1960 Crown Imperial Ghia Limousine, which is one of 17 built for 1960 by hand by Ghia in their shops in Turin, Italy, and then shipped back to the United States for Nelson Rockefeller, who was at the time governor of New York and would become the vice president of the United States. This was for his personal use. In Manhattan, he had two cars. He had a '59 Imperial Ghia Limousine, which he ordered when he became governor of New York because he didn't like the standard Cadillac they assigned him. So he had a 1959 Imperial Ghia constructed, paid for it, donated it to the state, and assigned it to himself because he could do that. This car was the second car he had built by hand by Ghia for use specifically in Manhattan and the areas close to New York City. It's the only one built with a blind quarter, which we'll look at in a minute, and one of two built with standard inbuilt four-way flashers to get them through traffic. The other one, of course, was loaned to the White House for $1 by Chrysler Corporation and used at the very end of the Eisenhower administration and specifically through the Kennedy administration, used exclusively by Jackie Kennedy. And you can see footage of that on YouTube in the procession to Arlington after the assassination of the president. This car spent its life in Manhattan, chauffeur-driven and maintained. It's largely an original car, sympathetically restored where it needed to be restored. So it's a mix of original and standard features. It's powered by a Chrysler 413 V8, specially rigged with a huge generator. I would point out that in 1960, toward the end of the year with Imperials, Chrysler switched from generators to alternators. Not on this. This is still a generator powered car. Extra heavy duty cooling system, dual air conditioning, a Chrysler Torque Flight transmission, and of course a multi-piece drive shaft for smooth operation. It also has Chrysler's total contact brakes, which they used on the rest of their line as well. This car has 500 pounds of lead in it because it's largely from the windshield back a hand-built car. It doesn't share many components with other Imperials from the fender's rear. First, of course, are the hand-built doors. So this is called a high bridge door in the carriage trade, meaning this area above the door and the sides, all hand-built, hand-fitted, and leaded in. The reason it's cut in like this is so to make it easier for you to get in and out of the car without ducking or moving or hitting your head. Also, built into the car are leaded rain gutters. They're inside the door with drains built inside each pillar. The door edges and the entire roof is a handmade panel beaten over wooden formed roof section, all fitted and made by hand. They move the pillars, the floor section, it's all hand built. The interior is done in traditional limousine form, which is piped black leather with nylon carpeting. Same thing with the door panels, very plain because it's where the chauffeur sits. There's no travel for the seat. The seat does not adjust because it's up against a wall for the rear division window. So you have to fit the car. The car does not adjust to you if you're the limousine driver. At his controls for the limo driver are transmission, HVAC controls, as well as the rear division window, power switches to communicate with the rear passengers, as well as a very primitive early type of cruise control called autopilot. You set the autopilot, and the car just stays at that speed. Similar to today's cruise control, except it's completely mechanically operated, which is unlike today's cruise control. In the back, notice how that closed, by the way. Doesn't close like any other Chrysler Imperial that you'd ever close the door on. In the back, we have a completely blind section. In a normal limousine, we'd have a third window here for the rear passenger to look at. That's exactly the opposite of what Rockefeller wanted. He didn't want anybody to see him. So this is completely enclosed and padded for both for silence and for privacy. In the back, and you'll see this in a minute, all the seams are leaded in and smoothed out. In a normal car, the skin wraps around and is welded to the skeleton of the door. That's not the case in this car. This is completely smooth and totally leaded in so that there are no exposed seams. Same thing in the rear, no exposed seams at all, because we wouldn't, as a passenger, have to look at something so crudely put together. So this is totally finished, totally smooth. Again, hand-fitted Italian wool broadcloth that's steam-fitted for a drum-tight fit. Every piece of wood in this car is matched. It's 100-year-old walnut. And on the back of the walnut, it's all marked with the number 14. Why is that? Because this is the 14th car out of the 17 they built in 1960, so that you couldn't get a mismatched piece of walnut. We wouldn't want to have that. If we're a Rockefeller, we like to see everything match. It has a set of jump seats to carry 2 more passengers. It also has hand-woven leather assist straps, a clock by Ghia in the center, and imperial crowns embroidered on the seat backs. It also has, unlike every other 1960 Imperial limousine, its 16 brothers, a special tiny back window for additional privacy. Just enough so that the chauffeur has vision from his rearview mirror, but not enough so that you can really see what you're doing when you're backing up. You need really a small group of airline mechanics to help you back this car up. So it's a really very special car. And again, not unlike Rolls-Royce, it's all about the way the fittings are made. It's all cast chrome. There's no plastic in this car. And it closes like a vault. This is, of course, a 60 Imperial in its own right, which has the first of a really 4-year run of similarities with the 61, 2, and 3 Imperial, which is characterized by this body line running down the side of the car. The fins change from year to year, up and down, and in dimensions as well. This is a Fred Hudson design, largely, who was a former Packard designer and left Packard when Packard closed in '56 in Detroit, and came to Chrysler. And one of his famous designs that he worked on with Virgil Exner, the head of styling for Chrysler, is the 1958 Imperial Elegance Dream Car. And many of the themes from that car transferred to this design. So it's a beautiful car. We hope you get to see it here on display in our main gallery at the AACA Museum. We're open every day of the year except Christmas, New Year's, and Easter. And be sure you ask to see our behind-the-scenes tour. We have 100 cars on display in our 70,000 square foot main building, and another 100 in our storage building behind the main museum. Thanks for coming.